Ever notice how the person who triple checks the bill, who asks for tap water instead of the $4 sparkling, who drives across town to save 9 cents on gas, somehow has more money than everyone else at the table? And yet they look more stressed about spending it than the person living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because this was never about money. It's about fear. Picture this. You're at brunch. The check comes. Everyone casually tosses in their card, except one person pulls out a calculator. They divide the tax, adjust the tip, subtract the extra fries they didn't touch. The table goes quiet. And you're thinking, how do you make 6 figures and still panic over $3? Here's what's actually happening. Financial psychologist Dr. Brad Klontz calls them money scripts, unconscious beliefs about money we absorb as kids, long before we understand what money even is. Some people grow up with what's known as a money vigilance script. Deep down, they believe disaster is always one purchase away. Their nervous system treats spending like danger. Maybe they watched their parents argue over bills. Maybe they experienced bankruptcy. Maybe they saw financial security disappear overnight. When that happens, the brain writes one rule in permanent ink: never again. So it installs a surveillance system. Every purchase gets scanned for threat. Every receipt feels like risk, even when they're objectively stable. And here's the twist. Some of the most extreme savers didn't grow up poor. They grew up with anxious parents. They inherited the alarm without ever experiencing the fire. That's how trauma works. The nervous system doesn't care whether the threat was yours or borrowed. It just learns that spending equals unsafe. So you reuse Ziploc bags until they fall apart. You skip the $2 add-on. You feel a tiny spike of anxiety every time money leaves your account. Logically, you're fine. Physiologically, you're under attack. And then there's another type of extreme saver, not fear-based, but control-based. Psychological research on perceived control shows that when life feels unstable, job uncertainty, relationship tension, unpredictable housing, people cling to whatever they can control. Money becomes that anchor. You can't control inflation, but you can control whether you buy name-brand cereal. You can't control layoffs, but you can control your utility bill. It's not about the 70 cents, it's about power. This also explains the strange inconsistencies. They'll refuse to pay for parking but spend thousands on something emotionally meaningful, because thriftiness isn't really about logic, it's about regulation. And here's where it gets interesting. Extreme savers and extreme spenders are psychologically cousins. The spender soothes anxiety by acquiring. The saver soothes anxiety by restricting. Different behaviors, same root. Both are attempts to feel safe, and both can quietly cost you. Money is one of the top reasons couples fight. When one partner sees spending as freedom and the other sees it as danger, conflict becomes inevitable. To the saver, spending feels reckless. To the spender, saving feels suffocating. Neither is wrong, they're just running different scripts. But there's a hidden cost nobody talks about. Extreme thriftiness can shrink your life. You skip dinners, you avoid trips, you hesitate to give. You sit in social situations calculating instead of connecting. Over time, people stop inviting you. Loneliness increases, anxiety rises, you grip tighter. It becomes a loop. And the cruel irony, the entire goal was security, but hyper-control often produces the opposite. Your bank account says you're safe, your nervous system says you're not. That disconnect is exhausting. Research consistently shows there's a psychological sweet spot. People who save consistently but spend intentionally report higher life satisfaction than those at either extreme. Moderation feels secure, rigidity feels protective, but isolating. So the real question isn't, are you good with money? The real question is this: does your relationship with money expand your life or quietly shrink it? Because at the end of the day, money is rarely the issue. It's fear, it's control, it's inherited anxiety, it's old survival wiring running modern software. And the hardest part? Thriftiness gets praised. No one pulls you aside and asks, "Hey, are you okay?" So if this made you slightly uncomfortable, good. Discomfort means awareness, and awareness is where real change begins. If you want more deep dives into the psychology behind everyday behavior, subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel, ironic given the topic, you can join as a member. Either way, I'll see you in the next one. Same energy, different human mystery.